had to get off the highway and take the back way to go home because the wind's blowing so bad on the highway that the truck's just all over the place. So, which is good for her because the window's down and she gets to get her nose out the window. Kiki, your hair on your face is messed up, dude. So this is a paved back road that leads to my house eventually, but I put many miles on this road. This is my basic testing ground for all the cars when I build them and get them driving. This is all the test grounds, proving grounds. In the summer it's really awesome because there's a big canopy of shade. It's kind of nice, especially in the summer when your old cars don't have AC. I especially like it on my motorcycle because it's always shaded and really cool through here. This is a super sharp curve. There's a golf course right here. So I had to go to O'Reilly's and get some wax and grease remover. I go through a lot of this stuff. It's like $7 or $8 a can at O'Reilly's. I like the aerosol better than the bottle because you have less waste, and it's just easier to work with. Spray it on a rag and roll on, you know what I mean? Alright, we're gonna have us a little fun here. Alright guys, I've been working on this for a little while. I basically used my orbital polisher from Harbor Freight. This is the Bauer. I have a video about this. Anyway, it's an orbital polisher, so this doesn't cause swirl marks like a regular buffer, and it doesn't sling the stuff everywhere. But what I found out when I first got this was I can't compound anything with it. Like if you sand something down to buff it, the number one pad just would not, cutting compound pad would not do the job. So what I figured out was to use the regular buffer on number one only and then finish everything else with two with this. And it works awesome because it removes your swirl marks and everything. Now, I talked about this in my latest video, was this paint has tightened up on me, so it wasn't looking as good. And then I've been wiping the car down with wet microfibers, you know, to get all the dust and stuff off of it. So it's put some light scratches in it, which I never was worried about it because this will polish it right back up and get all the scratches out of it. They're just like minute scratches. They're not deep. You can't feel them with your fingernail or anything like that. So this morning I came out, started on this. I didn't do number one. I'm a little bit too chicken to do that. Basically, every time you polish a car, and you know, you're removing material. So I don't want to run out of paint in a year, you know what I mean? So I started out with number two, and I always use 3M products here. They have 1, 2, and 3. They have a number on them, and I actually am almost out of number 2, so I just went in there to eBay and ordered a new one. I used to get these for like, seems like they were like 30 bucks or 35 bucks, and now they're pretty much about 50 to 60 bucks for one. So prices have went stupid on these for a quart. So I did number 2 with a medium cut pad and went over it, and it looked okay. So I went ahead and went over it again, and then it looked pretty decent. So it's looking pretty good. So this is number 3. This is a finishing pad, and this is the number 3. You can see the number on it, and this will really, really bring that paint out. But the buffing pads that I like to use are Lake Country, like a body of water, Lake Country. They're just my favorite. Everybody's different. Everybody does stuff different. They use different materials. They use different pads, and just somebody's going to ask, so that's what I used. So anyway, I'm gonna hit this thing here. Now you work these orbital polishers way different than a buffer. Buffer, you got to keep it moving. These, you go slow and steady. You go one way and then you can go the other way. Look at that. Man. That's what I love about single stage black. I don't think there's anything that can put a better shine in black than single stage. It looks like I can reach in there and just grab something. Love it. I painted this car in base coat, clear coat black first, the body shell, and I got solvent pop. After I sanded and buffed it, like 2 months later, it all showed up. It was really a strange deal. And it looked good. And I couldn't afford to do the base coat, clear coat again, so I just did single stage urethane Nason. Now, that is at my local O'Reilly's for a gallon for 186 bucks or 88 bucks or something for a gallon of paint. So there's, you know, I didn't have to buy clear coat and the activator and all that stuff. It was one and done type of deal. When I first started painting, when I was 16 and all the way up, I learned on single stage. And later into the 90s when I started doing base coat, clear coat stuff. And I like base coat, clear coat better for, especially if you buff it, it'll hold out way, way longer. But this urethane single stage seems to hold out pretty good as well. But man, look at that. That is amazing. So I highly recommend the 3M products. I mean, they did all the hard work for you instead of, like, back in the day, I used to just mix match everything. Mix match compound, mix match number 2 and number 3. And so I love it. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the quarter panel. And I'll get back with you all in a minute. Been having trouble with this LED light. This thing is not, it's not getting bright. It looks like one of the LEDs burn out, but sometimes after about an hour or two of it being on, it'll get bright, but it hasn't all day long. So that one's, I mean, it should be bright like that. So I guess I'm gonna have to replace that one. I never did replace the other two bulb ones down there with LEDs yet. So I got this finished to number 3, so now I can go ahead and put my emblems on and my trim and my beltline molding, quarter window and that type of stuff. So that is pretty awesome. That is a heck of a finish in that paint. And I'll go ahead and do this for my buddies. I have a couple of them that like to come over when I build a car and bend down and look down from the front to the back or the back to the front, looking for that little bitty flaw. And so I'll just do that for you, save you the time. I'd say it's pretty straight. I'm happy with it.